Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 218 of the Terminal City FC podcast, part of the Area 51 Sports Network. Joshua Ray joined alongside Nathan Dirk, as per usual, talking all things Vancouver Whitecaps and all things football. So, normally we talk a lot about the football side of the pitch, but a lot of off-field football stuff today surrounding the Vancouver Whitecaps. And as you already know by now, it's not looking good, bruv. It's looking very bleak. So it all started last week when Axel Schuster gave some very bleak and concerning updates regarding the Vancouver Whitecaps stadium situation. And given that he's been very positive since the club went on sale, this was a sharp left turn.
You know, he's still as diplomatic as ever. I mean, he basically was presenting the fact that negotiations with Pavco over BC Place haven't really gone anywhere in terms of a bridge deal that would get them to if and when a stadium can be built on the old Hastings Racecourse. He did something interesting in that he said that the individuals that they're negotiating within Pavco have been very, very receptive and very, very helpful and open. It just seems like that negotiating team is limited in what they're actually able to do. Now, it has come out since then. I think it was first reported by Jay Janauer
Yesterday,
and since that they have, or apparently the BC government and Pavco have offered a 1-year deal where basically the Whitecaps would take everything after profit. Basically, Pavco would recoup all their costs, and then everything above and beyond that would go to the Whitecaps, which they say works out to about $1.5 million annually. Actually, released a statement afterwards saying basically thank them for it, but that it still doesn't.
It's not a game changer.
No.
And it's
basically it's a band-aid on a solution, because for 1 year, I mean, in 1 year, they're not. I mean, they might have the land deal done, but they're not even going to have plans for a stadium.
Yeah, the ground won't be. There's no guarantee in 1 year that the ground will be broken. Yeah, 1 year deal.
It won't be. The MOU, you got to remember, the MOU runs until the end of this year, right?
Yeah. And here's the statement from yesterday. A gap between top 7 in attendance and last revenue is so significant that this alone isn't a game changer needed for long-term sustainability.
MLS has also released another statement as well through one of their executives, basically reiterating everything that Axel was talking about. Axel did have some interesting stuff that he talked about on the potential ownership side. He said since the club went up for sale last year, it's actually now been for sale for just over a year, because it would have been just over a year now, 2024. They've had about 100 inquiries at varying levels. Of that, around 30
to 40 potential buyers were interested, but none didn't want to spend a single cent.
Opened up the books, but once they take a look at those books, no potential group went further. Part of what is in those books is the MOU. Again, that's all public as well. It's out there and available, but no group sees the Whitecaps as a viable investment
option. To invest, not even a single cent.
Yeah. Now the thing is I know a lot of people are scared about relocation or anything like that, but you also got to remember that these investors aren't even investing for that.
Yeah. And let's not. You could say, the province is spending so much money on BC Place for the World Cup and having other events such as concerts and all that. Yet they won't give the Whitecaps a better deal, even though they're one of two main tenants. But what also can be true is the Whitecaps ownership had 15 years to figure out the stadium situation, and everything just went, the way it is now because the club went up for sale, and Don Garber was pissed off about that motocross thing for the playoff game. Makes you wonder, how could they afford Thomas Muller's contract? They were last in revenue, and are they waiting to sell high now that the team is good? And such, it's just all of this could have been prevented years ago.
I don't know if it could have been prevented, but we could have seen attempts, and that's the one thing, is that we never even saw the attempt.
There hasn't
been an attempt on a stadium for the Whitecaps since the mid 2000s when there was the potential of the waterfront stadium, and Kerfoot was trying to do the land swap deal with the federal government that fell through because the federal government basically just never picked up the phone. The disillusionment from Kerfoot, I can understand why he just didn't want to deal with a new stadium after trying so many years to try and get it done at that point. But at a certain point, you got to kind of get back on the horse, so to speak. And we haven't seen anything. Now, the Thomas Mueller thing to me is a little bit of a red herring. Yes, they spent the money, but that's money in different pots.
Yeah, that's mostly on Kerfoot's pockets and other streams of revenue like the Apple deal.
Exactly, right? But the fact that they haven't been working until basically it was like a gun to everyone's head. They haven't been working with the city on trying to find land. They haven't been working with the province on maybe a longer term deal with BC Place. They haven't been working with the federal government on maybe alternative federal land that they might be able to do long term leases on, as they're now doing potentially with the city and the MOU. There just hasn't been anything. And I mean, you can throw the argument that, well, in the 2010s, the Whitecaps were dealing with
other stuff, and it was not, buy worthy.
And true, they were, but you have to figure it out faster than that. The other thing is BC Place is a weird piece of infrastructure to deal with because it is government operated. Government operated means that they have to be responsible to their taxpayers. So they can't just offer maybe the sweetest deal that Whitecaps fans would wish they would offer, because their constituency is not just Whitecaps fans.
No, it's the Lions fans, other tenants.
It's the entirety of the BC province. Yeah. Their constituents are voters.
Yeah, rent for each. You can see in Bob Macklin's article, $1,000 a year for rent. $2 ticket per sold. The Whitecaps did get a cut of food and beverage, but only gross sales exceeded $3.5 million during the club's operating year.
Yeah, that's pretty high.
And if that happened, Pavco must pay the Whitecaps 12.5% gross food and beverage revenues.
Which really, that's not that big.
It's not. And then there's the sweet deals. Yeah, and timing is everything. And this is how much Pavco is spending on World Cup matches in the summer.
The thing is Pavco's mandate is going to be mandated by the BC government. That's going to be set. You're not going to change that unless you have an active legislature, which means that you're already negotiating with one arm tied behind your back. There's only so much that can be done right now unless you get, the big guys in Victoria to decide to change the rules a little bit. The Whitecaps can beg and beg and beg all they want, but if there's absolutely nothing to offer, then either they're going to be frustrated, they're going to take whatever deals on the table, or they're going to look elsewhere. And right now, with the language that we're hearing, it does feel like it is a look elsewhere. Yeah, problem is everyone from elsewhere isn't looking at the Whitecaps.
No, one thing I mentioned in my column regarding the situation is the one thing to remain positive on, if you want to find a positive, is MLS loves the expansion fees. $500 million for an expansion fee team. Like, look at San Diego.
And that's just what it is right now. The next expansion team could be more.
Yeah, like 600, 700 million. Here's financial statements for past couple of years, BC Place. If you look on this column, if those who are watching, event revenue goes up a little bit, like event revenues 2024 to 2025. But as Axel mentioned, Whitecaps, despite all that success, last in revenue in 2025, and looks like 2026 could be worse.
I think you also have to wrap up the fact there that land in the Lower Mainland isn't cheap.
It's very hard to come by,
right? So your rental for BC Place, I'm guessing, naturally is just going to go up, especially for a piece that big, right in downtown, for a downtown stadium.
Yeah, and
I would love to look at alternative options. I mean, even to keep the Whitecaps, you start looking at the possibility of options in other municipalities in the Lower Mainland. I mean, Surrey has just announced that they're trying to build a stadium, a 10,000 foot,
arena.
not stadium, arena right now.
Yeah.
But I mean, you want to talk about the availability of lands. That's pretty much where you would go. Not only that, but you're talking about the fastest growing municipality in the country. It's going to bypass Vancouver in terms of population quite soon. I don't know what the solution is here right now. Do we just keep going status quo where the Whitecaps keep negotiating with the city off the long-term deal with the land? They keep trying to find an investor to foot the bill for a stadium. Like it kind of feels right now that the best case scenario is, I don't know, find an American friend and get him to win the Powerball.
Yeah, if only I could buy the Whitecaps if I won some sort of lottery.
If only I had there's even people talking about crowdfunding a stadium.
Yeah. At this rate, it would take more than a save the crew type movement to save the Whitecaps. And I also wonder, besides the 1-year deal that was reportedly offered, what else do the Whitecaps want from Province and Pavco?
That's a good question as well, because I think the Whitecaps are taking a look around the league and seeing what other teams around the league get and think
maybe
we deserve the same, but you're not negotiating with the same kind of partner as other places around the league are negotiating.
Other places around the league own their own stadium or at least own parts of it.
Or you're negotiating with a privately owned stadium, not something that is wholly government owned.
Yeah.
BC is very unique in that case.
Yeah, Vancouver is one of the more unique cases. Like Seattle, the Sounders are 25% owned by the Allen estate. And of course, TFC, for example,
they're wrapped up
Maple
in
Leaf Sports
whole,
Entertainment and Bell Media. So that stadium is literally theirs. It's really not sounding good. And there's no, as transparent as Axel has been, what more do the Whitecaps want? And I know some people are saying, "Oh, get Greg Kerfoot out on the camera and microphones." You couldn't pay him $1 million to do that.
Greg Kerfoot is, you might get one of the other owners. You might get Jeff Mallett.
Yeah, we haven't heard from him.
You will never get Greg Kerfoot.
I could ask for Greg Kerfoot. No.
Greg Kerfoot is the guy that, if he was the richest man in the world, his picture on Wikipedia would still be a black silhouette.
He literally has no Wikipedia picture, as far as I know.
Yeah, he is one of those guys that nobody really knows what he looks like, except those very, very close to him.
Yeah. He doesn't even have a Wikipedia. What am I saying? As I'm looking here, I really it feels more and more possible now that the team could be on its way out at the end of 2026. I'm not saying, it's guaranteed, get the moving trucks out now, but it's very, very possible. It, some ways, is comparable to the Vancouver Grizzlies, but the Grizzlies dealt with bad attendance, poor management, poor team, and a weak Canadian dollar. This is more similar to a recent team that's relocated regarding stadium issues such as the Oakland Raiders.
Right. You also got to remember, we don't have a weak, our dollar's nowhere near as what
where it was
during the Grizzly times. Right?
Yeah, it's way better now than compared to today.
What the problem is just the finances of
and the stadium
operating in Vancouver. Vancouver is its own little microcosm.
Yeah. It just this is giving Arizona Coyotes in a way. Very similar. Same with the St. Louis.
Except that we don't have the attendance issues.
Yeah, besides the attendance issues. Same with, I guess, also with the San Diego Chargers and the St. Louis Rams, now both LA teams. But I feel like the Raiders, in a way, are the more comparable option, which are now the Las Vegas Raiders, which is still weird to me.
Yeah, that's a strange one.
So I really don't know where this is gonna go here, because I know this can change any minute. Like in 5 minutes from now, let's say, they come to a deal for 5 years. But
There's your bridge deal. If you can get started with a shovel in the ground, there's your bridge deal.
yeah, Asa Rahman of Global, he tweeted out this morning that with public funding unlikely to cover the Whitecaps' annual financial gap, other ownership models deserve a look. A multi-club ownership group is controversial in some markets, but it can provide stability and scale. It seems to be working with the local baseball team here, the Vancouver Canadians, who are an affiliate of the Toronto Blue Jays.
We talked about the possibility when we were talking last year about different ownership models. We talked about the multi-club model.
Yeah, like a Red Bull, Citigroup.
Yeah, we were kind of
Crystal Palace ownership group
here and there on it. I mean, there are definitely benefits. You can definitely kind of share the expenses to a certain extent. But the one thing is you don't want to get caught up of being the little brother within the group. Think of like Chelsea and Strasbourg.
I don't want Blue Co.
No,
anywhere near the Whitecaps because the Whitecaps would be just a developmental group for Chelsea.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't want Bernardo Bali near this club.
Yeah. And you got to think what Man City already has their deal with New York City.
Yeah, though they let New York be their own thing in a way.
They do.
And at least they helped New York get their own stadium, which is we'll talk about it near the end of the show.
Battle as well. Look how long that took.
Yeah, and thankfully, New York has no relocation rumors and all that, but they're getting a stadium.
Yeah,
that's what the Whitecaps, the end goal is. That's what the MOU is for, and it's just a very poor situation all around. As I said in my article, if the Whitecaps leave the city, everybody loses. Nobody wins here. It's going to be a tragedy for
and that's
everybody.
Just the thing as well is it's not just the fans that lose out. You also lose a long-term kind of cultural icon of this city, a team that's been around for more than half a century. But BC Place loses out as well. You lose your number one tenant.
Yeah. Right? Lions only play a handful of games.
Whitecaps are in there for over 20.
Yeah.
Season, especially when you think 4 different competitions, right? And how far the Whitecaps went last year. If they do anything similar this year, and last year they were only in 3 competitions, they're in 4 this season coming up. But yeah, it feels pretty dour right now.
Yeah, it's just depressing as the weather is outside over the past few days. And I wonder though, like with new signings, given all this, would players want to commit long term, given that there's so much uncertainty whether the team will be in Vancouver?
It's a very good conversation to have. It's one that there's not really an answer to. Every player is going to have an individual response to it, but it is
players they're focused on the football.
Yeah, but the thing is players also don't want to have to just pick up and move their family once you've just settled, right?
Yeah, it's not just players, club staff too.
That too.
Or if the staff members don't want to move with the team for viable reasons,
you're looking for jobs.
You're out of work. It feels like, when the MOU was announced 2 months ago, it felt like a lot of open positive, like, okay, this is a step in the right direction. The club may be here to stay after all. Now, 2 months later, it's not looking very good.
And you also got to wonder if, like, this entire process, if it might just be like that, one step forward, one step
back.
Right? And it's just going to keep going back and forth until something actually tangible falls into place that we can say, okay, we've got this one thing actually done, and now we can build on it. We haven't really had that yet. We don't have that tangible thing. We don't have someone who has stepped up in the ownership to say, you know what, I actually want to make a legitimate bid. We don't have a land deal yet. We have a piece of paper that's even the piece of paper has a deadline on it, right? Like it's not. Well,
it just moves a centimeter towards the goal.
So that hasn't happened yet. Maybe if they can get that one piece to fall, the other ones just become that much easier. We'll have to wait and see.
It's just so dour that the club is good, proper front office, a really good coach, a superstar player, a team that went to every final they could have made last year, And it's possible that they could leave for like Vegas or Phoenix or Detroit or Indianapolis or wherever.
Yeah.
The Las Vegas Whitecaps. Ugh. Now that's something. That would be something.
No, you have to change the name. Don't like
Yeah, don't do a
I
Vancouver
hate it when
Grizzlies thing.
people keep the same thing and don't make it their own.
Yeah. Well, the Raiders brand is iconic, so I kind of understand why the Las
Yeah.
Vegas Raiders
Yeah,
kept. But the Vancouver
I,
Grizzlies,
I guess
Memphis
that's
Grizzlies,
also a little bit more transferable, where Whitecaps are very much
coastal.
geographically based.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah, it's gonna be another Vancouver Memphis Grizzlies thing, and again, I really hate how Memphis wears the Vancouver Grizzlies jerseys.
It was
And
like also when Colorado was wearing the Nordique shirts in Montreal. That's just a slap in the face.
it was, but it was nice to see on when you're watching on TV, but a slap
It's
in the
nice to
face.
see a Montreal and a Nordiques thing. It reminded me of a kid back in the day. But
Yeah.
if you're going to do that in Colorado. Don't do that in Montreal. I mean, that's literally, to me, that's the plot line of The Big Lebowski, where some guy breaks into your home and pees on your rug.
Yeah, pretty much. Uh, I I really don't know how to feel. Like other than I this is not looking good. I don't I think everyone has a reason to panic. And crazy thing is that the Whitecaps 2 days ago were people were like, "Oh, let's call out the MLAs, let's send emails," and then Axel puts out that statement, and now people are even more upset and scared.
We're also working on half information, right? Like
Yeah,
nobody's hair is lit on fire. There's no need to panic. This is still going to be playing out for good and for bad for the entirety of this season. We simply just don't know. We're working on very little information and deciding what the end game is based off this.
yeah.
It
And
doesn't sound good, but like you said earlier, about 5 minutes ago, this could change in 5 minutes.
yeah, but if it doesn't, when the Whitecaps take on the pitch, let's say even if they start winning again and make it to finals again, there's going to be this dark cloud hanging over the club. The more and more it doesn't get solved.
Then enjoy it for while it's here.
I guess, yeah, enjoy the Whitecaps while they last. I don't know what'll be the future of this show. I don't know what'll be the future of our articles, but we'll cross that bridge when we hopefully don't get there.
Yeah, exactly. There is some actual sporting news to go with the Whitecaps, though. There have been a couple of player movements. Giuseppe Bovalina has gone to Abreu SK of the Super Ettan in Sweden, the second division of Sweden. Very good move. He's basically was third on the depth chart for right back. He definitely
felt inevitable he was going to leave anyway. It felt inevitable that he was going to leave anyway, given
this needed to happen. Not just, it basically takes a player off the Whitecaps books for a little bit, but he just needs to play. He needs to play,
barely play,
and show the Whitecaps either that, it's time to move on, or that, look, he is ready to fight for that spot. So, no, I think this is really good for Giuseppe. I wish him all the best, and I hope that he makes a go of it. Now, Sweden has the same league schedule as MLS. So this loan goes until December, end of the year. He will be there for the entirety of the season with the Super Ettan. And Abreu is a solid team in the second division. So hopefully they do well. Who knows? Maybe he can be a part of a promotion push.
Another signing's coming in. European reporter Santi Aona reports that FC Metz striker Sheikh Sabali will be joining the Whitecaps soon, with his deal at Metz is set to expire in June. 26 years old, did really well when Metz were in Ligue 2, though he's kind of struggled in Ligue 1. Senegalese international and was a part of the squad that won AFCON a few weeks ago.
You know what? Getting in another striker is not a bad idea because we know Brian White has struggled with injuries season to season. He's usually going to be out for a significant period of time at some point. My one main concern is I don't want this to hinder the development of Ray and Alumi.
Yeah, that's my only
I
concern.
want Illumi to play solid minutes. I want him to get good minutes because I think he's an up and coming guy. And then also you got to remember that Pierre is right
Nelson
behind him as
Pierre.
well.
I think one of the
But
two would be loaned out.
at this case, I wouldn't be surprised if Pierre's loaned out. Illumi's
Yeah,
not going anywhere.
I don't
He
think.
needs
Yeah,
to play
given
for
the
the
fact that
Whitecaps.
they're so high on Illumi, I think Pierre is the odd man.
I kind of tend to agree with that. I wouldn't be surprised. Anyway, it is a good move. You got to think that right now this kind of sets up the roster pretty well for the Whitecaps.
Yeah, football wise, the team looks good.
Yeah, they've done
There are
well
questions, but the team looks good.
in managing that left hand side with Nelson and Ahmed out. They've got depth, possibly now coming in striker. The defensive core was already kind of figured out, back in August, and that side feels okay. It's
Other than Ryan Gauld being out till April,
yeah. Well,
but
you know what? We had to work with that last year, so we'll just keep
I
going.
think yeah. And also worth mentioning that Sabali can also play left wing and right wing. He has mostly played left wing, so
Which,
this is a guy that
again,
can play multiple positions.
That's actually really good for the Whitecaps too.
Yeah, he can even play in the midfield and as a cam, which is
That's very
interesting.
versatile. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
14 games this year in Ligue 1, no goals and 2 assists. But last year in Ligue 2, 15 goals and 3 assists.
Yeah, I don't really know how well Metz has been doing. Yeah, Metz is dead last in the entire league right now.
Yeah, I think
20 games.
I think this could be another like situation to Emmanuel Sabi last year.
Yeah,
where his team were dead last in Ligue 1, and they just took him to the Whitecaps.
Metz has 3 wins in 20 games.
Yikes!
Like they're basically Ligue 1's Wolves.
Yeah, and I guess Sabali will be on his way out and getting on a plane to Vancouver very soon. And Axel Schuster did hint last week in his media availability that there was an experienced player coming in, and I guess Sabali's the guy.
Makes sense.
Because the rest of the guys that signed were young guys. Caicedo and Jackson. Well, Jackson's like 24, but that's alone. All right. So, big MLS news that just came out of nowhere. This is a player that's been linked to MLS for
a while.
years. We didn't know if this would actually happen, but it apparently is. And James Rodriguez is set to sign for Minnesota United of all teams, and he teased it with a photo of himself on his jet with the words, "Here we go." There's an ice joke they hear that I'm trying to.
Oh yeah, I'm not touching that. Other than a brilliant World Cup, I've never really rated Rodriguez.
Excuse me. He was very highly touted even before the 2014 World Cup.
Yeah.
But it just never became that guy.
No. And he has bounced around quite a bit. I know that there's many in Mexico that really, really enjoy his time when he was playing there. Would love to have him back. So, I mean, he has been a figure, but I don't know. I do wonder if this is a bit of a knee-jerk reaction by Minnesota because Minnesota has lost some big key players this offseason.
Yeah, lost Dane Sinclair, for starters, to Miami. They lost their coach, Eric Ramsey, who is now West Brom's coach, I believe.
And I want to say Tanny.
Oh, yeah, Tanny last summer.
Also was there.
Right?
Yeah. And a few others as well. Like there's been a bit of a hit there. I mean, and there has been. I was reading something of other players within MLS that actually were apprehensive of deals from Minnesota because of what was happening in Minnesota, of not wanting to live and raise families there. James Rodriguez, you know what? It's a big name signing. It should make people feel good in Minnesota.
Maybe he'll cook there.
I guess we'll wait and see. But Yeah, I take this kind of with a grain of salt right now,
Yeah, because this
especially
guy
because
has
it is rumored like this is a DP contract, right?
yeah, this guy has bounced around like
A lot.
never was that guy at Real Madrid, went on loan to Bayern Munich, Everton,
Yeah.
not too long ago. He played in Qatar, Greece, Brazil, um, Spain again, and currently Leon in Mexico.
Yeah.
But yet he does so well internationally for Colombia. One of those players.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll
30,
have to wait and see.
34 years old. We'll wait and see if he's still got any left in the tank.
Speaking of all the moves that we've had a number of Canadian internationals making the moves in this January transfer window. We already know about Nelson and Ahmed leaving the Whitecaps and going to their respective teams. But Russell Rowe completed that move to Toulouse in Ligue 1.
A very well-deserved move for him. And again, like what I said last week, this could move him up the depth chart for the World Cup squad.
Absolutely.
This is a guy that's
one that I was really surprised is Stefan Eustachio has been linked rumors with LAFC. He has really definitely fallen down the depth chart with Porto.
Yeah,
he had been rumored to be moving to a Spanish side for a while there, but that doesn't look like it's going. It looks like he might be joining Matthew Chouanier with LAFC.
Yeah, and LAFC teased a new signing, and this definitely has to be Stephen Eustachio.
Yeah.
He joins Matthew Chouanier, at LAFC, and Jacob Schaffelberg, who apparently is out with an injury. That strengthens LAFC's midfield, makes them even stronger. Gets to play with Bouanga and Son up top. I mean, they're going to benefit from his delivery and his intellect, defensive play. There were rumblings about Sebastian Berhalter potentially leaving the Whitecaps, and I thought maybe if that happens, bring Stephen Eustachio. But it looks like Berhalter's staying for now, and Eustachio is headed to LA.
Schuster has talked about that. They're in talks with Berhalter's camp in terms of a new deal. Berhalter's contract runs out at the end of this season. They're talking. I think Berhalter right now is on about just under $400,000 a year.
Yeah,
which for a midfielder of his caliber is an absolute steal. You got to think that he is going to be, I don't know, tripling that. Like if you can get him underneath a TAM deal.
Yeah,
I'd be very, very happy, right?
Right. Other moves. Jonathan Sirois has joined FC Dallas.
Yeah.
He replaces Martin Pies, who is now with Ajax.
Which is a very, very good move for Pies.
Yeah. Dutch born, but Indonesian international.
Yep.
So it's kind of like coming home for him. And Sirois gets to be the starter in Dallas.
Kyle Larin joining Southampton was a surprise for me. It's only on loan for the remainder of the season, but he's going to be fighting it out in the championship.
Yeah, there were rumors that he would come back to MLS, but Jesse Marsh in like public talk kind of didn't squash that. Yeah, that's official now. As of 2 days ago. So last chance for Larin to prove that he still belongs with the World Cup squad and to find his form again because it's been a rough couple of years.
It has been, yeah.
Ever since he saved Mallorca from relegation.
Which he came in, it was in a January transfer window when he came to Mallorca, wasn't it?
Yeah, so maybe
did very well, and then it's just that half season hasn't really.
Yeah, plus he kind of fell out with the coaches and the staff there. Yeah, for Southampton, 14th, 10 and 10 is the record. 40 points.
There you go. Yeah, I know they're kind of sitting in the middle of no man's land.
Yeah, and they were in the Premier League last year.
Yeah,
which they were pretty bad. And veteran Junior Hoylett has joined Swindon. He leaves Aberdeen, I believe.
Yeah,
so it's
that. I mean,
yeah,
Junior Hoylett is the ultimate journeyman.
Yeah, he's been everywhere, man. He's been everywhere, including Vancouver not too long ago. It's a permanent deal through the end of this season. So
I honestly forgot that he had been with Vancouver.
Yeah, it's one of those. Remember this guy?
Yeah.
And Swindon are looking to push for promotion to League One. They're 6th in League Two. with 49 points.
That should be
10 points behind Bromley.
So the sixth place, they'd be in a playoff
Yeah.
spot. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, he was with Hibernian in the Scottish Premiership, not Aberdeen.
That's right.
Very well
yes.
liked figure.
Yeah.
Junior Hoylett in Scotland, wherever he goes.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's always been a fan. Like, fans always seem to like him. Seems like a likable guy anyway.
CONCACAF Champions Cup also started to get underway. Forge played their first game with Tigres to a 0-0 draw.
In a very cold. I didn't get to watch all of this game because I was out. But from what I saw, Forge held their own against Tigres and a new Canadian international, Marcelo Flores. Forge were very creative, but up top they were playing a false nine, I believe. Not that great, and their goalkeeper Bertaud, unreal, which included some big saves off Marcelo Flores.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a really good result for Forge to test themselves against a top Mexican team, Liga MX. But now going to Mexico to finish the job will be pretty tough.
Yeah, and I would, of course, the weather definitely played a factor for Tigres.
Yeah. You take advantage of whatever you can get, right?
Right, and now it's a reversal of fortunes. They're going down to Mexico City in the heat.
Yeah,
I will say though, Marcelo Flores
should be pretty proud of themselves.
Yeah, Flores looked good. Very swift and shifty with the ball. And I can't wait to see him the next international window for Canada and more CONCACAF Champions Cup today regarding a CPL team from Willoughby Park in Langley.
Yeah.
Vancouver FC will face the defending champions Cruz Azul.
Yeah, that'll
Tonight,
be a really interesting match.
Yeah, very interesting.
And actually, just recently, I just got the email within the last 5 minutes. Vancouver FC have just unveiled their away kits for this upcoming year, so you can check those out here right away.
Yeah, I think I'll bring those up. I have Vancouver FC's Twitter. No, they haven't posted it yet.
No, like I said, the email just came out, so
yeah. The new.
I don't think anything is ever going to match the cherry blossom kit that they had from a few years ago.
Yeah,
that one really knocked it out of the park. But
yeah, Champions Cup. Whitecaps begin in a couple of weeks against that team in Costa Rica. So, that's going to be a good game tonight between Vancouver and Cruz Azul. Let's see if Martin Nash's side can go toe-to-toe with the reigning champions. All right, over to Europe. So, last week, Chelsea looked down and out against Napoli. But where there's a will, there's a way. They managed to win it. So, they finished 6th in the UCL League stage, I believe, or 7th. And they get the round of 16 bye. So, they don't have to play in the round of 32 playoff knockout, whatever you want to call it. Enzo Fernandez scored a penalty, very well taken penalty, but after that, Chelsea just stopped playing. No attack, and the defending looked terrible on both Napoli goals. It was a bad first half, to say the least. Second half, much, much, much better. Chelsea were more proactive with the ball, more fast, and more hungry. And then Joao Pedro just scores his absolute blast from outside the box to tie the game. Then he takes Cole Palmer's pass on the rush later in the game to win the game for West Ham. Joao Pedro scores and does this and celebrates right where Lukaku is warming up. And then he scores the winner seconds after Lukaku comes on. And I should also mention Robert Sanchez made a big save on Lukaku near the end of the game after Alejandro Garnacho gave the ball away. Excuse me. So, good win over a very good side. And Napoli are out of the Champions League, which is terrible for them because they are the reigning Serie A winners. So, and then over the weekend, Chelsea were down and out again, but they came back. This time they were down 2-0 at home to West Ham. Poor defending all over again, especially on the rush. Benoit Badiashile, really, this guy, just not cut out for Chelsea.
How many times has that guy been sent out on loan?
Not him. He's been stuck around.
Has he? Okay. I thought
Yeah.
he'd been on loan earlier on in his Chelsea career.
No, he's the one that stuck around.
All right.
Oh, Axel Disasi, his former Monaco teammate, is now out on loan to West Ham. Uh, yeah, just Chelsea again, very sluggish in the first half, and Alejandro Garnacho, this guy, like the way he dribbles the ball, loses it so easily. He tries to take on his man, loses it so easily. Doesn't just like whenever he has the ball, it looks like it's gonna disappear. He's like the Bermuda Triangle. At least with Pedro Neto, he tries to keep the ball, but makes the wrong decision at the last minute. Alejandro Garnacho just right away loses it, and I don't know, like even trying to track back on the first or second West Ham goal, looked very terrible. Like this was a signing that was doomed to fail. 40 million down the drain. Jared Bowen gets the first goal for West Ham, and then Wan-Bissaka gets the second one. Very poor. Second half, again, much better. Subs made the difference. Cucurella, João Pedro, and Wesley Fofana came on. And João Pedro does it again. Great ball from Wesley Fofana to Pedro to head the ball in, to cut the score down to 1. And then Marc Cucurella with a diving header ties the game. And Enzo Fernandez with the winner by crashing the box and sliding it past Areola. Chelsea get the win, but not before Traore gets rage baited by Cucurella, and then he and Charles Pedro try to fight, causing a hockey-style line brawl.
He got tossed.
Yeah. And then Tony Bo got sent off. Traore got booked as well, and so did Joao Pedro.
Yeah.
First, I think Joao Pedro, guy can rage bait as well. He did that to Luis Enrique and PSG from the Club World Cup final, and now this. So, very good win. Good character win. Great on Liam Senior for adapting and making changes in the game. And, again, his subs pay off. Then yesterday, Chelsea did play well. Though Reece Senior went with a 5-3-2 formation, but Liam Delap played on the right wing. And he did not look good at all. Much better performance. Chelsea were the better team. And they defended well, but they just couldn't score. Despite bringing on Esteban Cole Palmer in the second half. And then he scores. Kai Havertz. Late in the game to seal Arsenal's trip to Wembley and taps the Arsenal badge. My eyes. And I don't know why Reece James was rested for this game because reasons. Not injured. Seems like Bedotic Bali's meddling with the lineups again. Resting Reece James for Wolves on the weekend. Great management. I don't know if this is Rosenior. I don't know what he's thinking here, but it really feels like the sporting director is Nick Bali meddling with the lineups yet again. So as mentioned, Chelsea are out of the Carabao Cup. That's almost 8 years without a domestic trophy. At least they have the FA Cup. Sucks to lose to Arsenal. Chelsea have not beaten them in almost 5 years. It's also a shame because they were the better team, but the tie was lost in the first leg. And as mentioned, Disasi is out on loan to West Ham. Aaron El Semenyo, recalled from his loan at Dortmund, is sent out to Strasbourg to be out on loan. And so does David Datro Fofana, the striker who I forgot existed. And they also recalled Mamadou Sarr from Strasbourg to be the new center back. Great squad planning. Great January window. And after all that talk for Jeremy Jeke, he goes to Liverpool. It was so obvious they'd fumble this one. So Wolves away next. And for Tottenham, again, in the Champions League, good result. And in the Premier League against Man City, they still managed to get a point.
Yeah, so Eintracht Frankfurt was their last match in the League's Cup league stage. Did business, couple of goals in the second half. Solanke and Kolomane. did the job. Basically, Eintracht Frankfurt didn't really have much going forward. They only had a single shot on net, really couldn't get anything going on. Tottenham finishes fourth in the entire Champions League group stage, which, I mean, is a very big positive, but you want to see that form translate over. So we start this big, tough run that we were talking about last week. Starts with Manchester City. And that first half, if it was anything to go by, well, you could see the number of fans that were already leaving the stadium, 2-0 down in the first 45. It looked pretty dire. But in the second half, it was a completely different team that came out. Dominic Solanke continued his work that he did in the Champions League, got himself a brace before having to come off injured. The first goal, you could argue, should have been a foul. Solanke did phenomenal to make himself space to take the shot, but when he took the shot, the defender was able to get a foot in front, and Solanke came in from behind, kicked the defender before he kind of got the ball. It went for review, but it went for review for a potential offside. They never reviewed for a potential foul. But you could tell they were even confused what to do, because they gave the goal originally as an own goal to the defender. Fine, they got the goal, it didn't matter. About 20 minutes to half an hour later, there was an announcement in the stadium that they gave the goal now to Solanke. Yep. So even then, like the actual play of the goal, they couldn't figure out really who to award it to. I think Spurs got a little bit lucky on this one, but you know what? Sometimes you just need luck to go your way. And if you get a chance, check out this second goal. It was an absolute beautiful cross goal from the right, from Conor Gallagher. Found Solanke, was behind him. Great kind of one-footed scorpion kick. Ball lobbed right over Domadura. He was not prepared for this. Like, he tried to jump for it, too little, too late. Ball kind of lobbed over him into the net. Beautiful goal. Check it out. And, well, I mean, there's a number of things that you can take from this. One, Man City and Spurs. Man City has problems with Tottenham. It has been that way ever since in the new stadium. Yes, they have beaten Spurs. They've done it, but it's very few and far between. And two, Pep Guardiola and second halves for Man City in general this season. This is a team that kind of falls apart in second halves. It's something they have to figure out, and it's looking more and more likely that it's something they're going to have to figure out without Pep Guardiola. So it's going to be interesting to see what we see with Manchester City next year. But you're starting to hear the whispers. Again, for as poor as Arsenal has been the past little while, not this last weekend notwithstanding, it almost seems like they're going to trip forward over that finish line and actually finish it up and get the title. Unless something happens, there's still a lot of time to go. But right now, it is theirs definitely to lose. Yep. Transfer window deadline. Spurs did make one move. There was a lot of talk about bringing in a very expensive winger. That one player from Marseille was Aloueki. I think I'm saying that wrong, but that never materialized. What did materialize was a move for from Scotland, Hearts sensation James Wilson. He's a teenage striker, 18 years old, and Spurs kind of pipped Arsenal over to make this. He had actually had a medical with Arsenal, was going to be moving there on a 6-month loan. That was basically going to be like a trial to see whether or not they wanted to go further. And Spurs offered him a contract outright, saying basically, you will be playing with our U21s, but we want you. We're signing you. They ended up signing him, I believe, to it was a 4.5-year deal, if I'm right. A guy that a lot of talk has been on this player. Like, before he signed his first professional contract at 16, Leeds was after him to try and entice him to come over into their setup and come into the Premier League at that point. He instead decided to stay in Scotland, continue to grow there. But he is now going to be joining Spurs and going to be a part of their development. So they did get one out of the way over the deadline day, but it might not be the one that people were hoping for, but definitely is one for long term.
That's fair. Yeah. Like Tottenham and Man City.
Every
Always,
time. Every time.
That's just
If they could only play like that last 45 minutes for an entire match, I'd be happy.
Yeah.
Because if you lose, but you played like that, I'm going to think you at least tried.
Yeah, at least you tried. Some other news here. So soccer for the 2028 LA Olympics will be held in places such as Columbus, Nashville, New York City, St. Louis, and other California cities such as San Jose and San Diego. Now, of course, it's very common to have other events be held in other cities throughout the country, especially soccer. Well, in Paris, they had some of the games in Marseille. In London, they had some of the games in Manchester. And in Rio, they had some of the games in other Brazilian cities. But it's funny, given, of course, the vastness of the United States, the LA Olympic soccer games will be held across the country on the other coast in New York City.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely really spreading it out. You're talking about multiple time zones. It makes it difficult. Well, I mean, it doesn't really make it difficult. I was going to say for people that aren't accustomed to watching, but I mean, people are watching Champions Leagues and whatnot. I think they'll adjust just fine, but it is definitely unique when it comes to the Olympics.
Yeah, I believe the BMO Stadium and the LA Galaxy Stadium, they're going to be used, but not for soccer. Oh yeah, I'm just seeing here. LAFC Stadium will be used for flag football and lacrosse. Okay. SoFi Stadium is going to be used for the opening ceremonies and even swimming. They're actually put a swimming pool, which is
usually the whatever stadium they use for opening ceremonies is where athletics happens.
Yeah, but I'm also reading here that it will.
Is there maybe a different facility in kind of like their kind of like a sporting campus where there's also a pool? I don't know. I'd have to take
I don't know.
Yeah, that doesn't compute.
Yeah, it doesn't compute me. Dignity Health Sports Park, the LA Galaxy Stadium. Just came to me. Is hosting rugby sevens and archery.
Interesting. That's
very interesting. But yeah, SoFi Stadium is hosting swimming.
All right then.
Yeah.
Let's see it.
Yeah, I gotta see this. Yeah.
One of the more unusual things that happened in this January transfer window was the non-move of Crystal Palace's Mateta. This was a player that actually Spurs had been linked to. We talked about it even last week. But he had his heart set on a move to AC Milan, flew down to Italy for the medical, and failed the medical, which means that he is on his way back to London with the team that he told he did not want to play for anymore because he was the one who forced this move.
Yeah, so looks like he's staying until the end of the season.
Yeah.
If medical fails, that's the way it goes.
Very rare that this happened, but this is something that kind of goes back to last season. It was a knee injury that I'm not too sure if it's really healed.
Yeah, that's why it was.
Yeah, apparently there was a number of medicals that he had with AC Milan to really test this out, but they were very, very scared, especially because he had been out. I think when he played in Germany, he was out for almost 6 months, I think, with a knee injury at that point as well. So this seems to be something that's reoccurring. What now remains to be seen is, can Mateta reintegrate himself not only into the squad and the coaching staff, into their good graces, but into the good graces of the fans who basically knew this was a player that had one foot out the door.
Yeah, I don't know if I were a Palace fan, like
it's a tough one.
It's a tough one. And he did post something on Insta on his story, I believe, before the move failed or after it. It's like the emoji where smoke is coming out of the nose.
Okay.
So I don't know. I'd probably be taken aback by that if I were a Palace fan. And Palace, they spent £80 million on Brennan Johnson and Johan Strand Larsen.
Now you got to wonder, like, do you even use the guy?
Yeah, or do you just bomb squad him for the
Yeah.
rest of the season? Uh, yeah. So Glasner is 1 foot out the door. Mateta will definitely leave in the summer, and Gay is at Man City. So it's like Crystal Palace sold their soul for the FA Cup last year.
Yeah.
Well, at least they won something.
Yeah, that's true. Fair enough.
All right. One last thing here before we go. It's Super Bowl weekend, and my Seattle Seahawks are in the Super Bowl against Har's New England Patriots. Just do a quick preview here before we wrap up. And follow Jaden Tasia. I believe that's how you say his name. He covers the Seahawks for Area 51 Sports Network. He'll probably write a more in-depth preview for this. And, of course, the result of the Super Bowl, whether it happens. And, of course, the Seattle Seahawks are the favorites to win over the New England Patriots. I'd like being the favorites, but, again, you can't take any team lightly. And, of course, the Patriots had a softer schedule and a softer run to the Super Bowl. I mean, look who they played. The LA Chargers and their terrible O-line. CJ Stroud's Houston Texans, who were terrible. 5 interceptions for CJ Stroud. And the Denver Broncos with a backup quarterback. Well, the Seahawks had to face the San Francisco 49ers. They blew them out. Good team. And the LA Rams and the MVP, potential MVP, Matthew Stafford. And now they're going to face another potential MVP, Drake May, in the New England Patriots. And the Seahawks had the better record against playoff teams this year, while the Patriots were like 1-2. In the regular season, they played against teams that mainly fired their coaches later. So there's no reason that the Seahawks have the better defense. They have a good offense. But Drake May takes the edge over Sam Darnold, I'd say. Can Sam Darnold finally vanquish those ghosts against the very team he saw ghosts against and prove that he truly is made for the big stage? Like, this is the biggest stage. And, like, a ring for him would be, like, the best way to end a comeback story. This guy was seen as, like, one of the biggest busts in the NFL a few years ago, and now he's an elite quarterback. So I'm going to predict that the Seahawks win by at least 10 or around 8 to 10 points.
I defer to your wisdom.
I'll go 31-21 Seattle Seahawks. Sam Darnold, the MVP, though I'll give a shout out to Jackson Smith and Njigba, or one of the defensive players like Leonard Williams or Devon Witherspoon. Or Ernest Jones IV. One of those guys could be MVP, given how good the defense has been this season. Beware of the dark side. So go Hawks. Go Hawks. And hopefully the second Lombardi will come home and we will vanquish the demons from Super Bowl 49. So we won't have to be reminded of that certain interception ever again. So that concludes this week's episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Tell us what we're doing right. Tell us what we're doing wrong. Follow me on Twitter at JoshuaRay00. Nathan is N Dirk. Podcast at Terminal City FC on Twitter and Blue Sky. And check out all our writing for Area 51 Sports Network. We'll have more on this whole Whitecap situation. We'll look more into things and ask more questions when we're allowed to. Obviously, if we ask any questions now, things are just going to be silent.
There's not going to be any more information that we had right now.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks bleak to be a Whitecaps fan. It's just, very, like uncertain now. And, well, hopefully get some good news at some point. But things, again, are not looking very good. And don't know if the team will still be here by this time next year. And yeah, this dark cloud won't go away until things are resolved. Kind of a bleak show this week, but that's the reality of the situation. So that concludes this week's episode. Peace out.
Take care.